Hello, how are you, wonderful students? Professor Graham here. Let's go over the novel module together now. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully you enjoyed the short stories and are ready to move on. All right. So similar uh, order to Module 2 as was in Module 1. Your objectives and assignments are, first of all, the objectives are very similar to what they were in uh, Module 1. You will be demonstrating critical thinking and reading skills in the homework assignments. You'll be reading and analyzing Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. You'll summarize and explain your ideas using literary terms in the novel discussion. You'll use summary, paraphrase, and direct quotation to support a thesis and essay 2, as well as your homework assignments. And of course, correctly apply MLA documentation to the essay in a works cited page and in the in-text citations. So for your activities and assignments for this module, you'll watch Hermann Hesse's The Long Summer. That's your biographical documentary on the author. Will help you kind of understand the novel a little bit better, as well as the author a little bit better. And that will, as you guys know from the previous module, knowing this stuff will help you when you go to write your introduction paragraph in your novel. Your author background is always going to be helpful for that. Um, Okay, you'll have your reading assignments, your novel discussion. I'm going to go over this in a second in more detail. It's kind of why I'm cruising past this list here, but you'll have your reading assignments. They're divided by chapters, and then you'll have your required novel discussion, and then you'll also have your your optional discussion with your peers to discuss a novel in whatever terms you would like. A little less formal, certainly ungraded. And then, of course, you'll have a second essay at the end of the module. So let's just take a look at this stuff together. First of all, again, as I mentioned, you'll have your author background. Now, notice here is the novel in full form in this link. I think you'll be happy to know it is a novella. It is a shorter novel, so we are able to complete it in a either an accelerated semester, well, in an excuse me, in an accelerated semester. So, anyway, just be mindful that there is a link to the novel. There's the author background biographical video. There's background on the novel itself. So when you are watching these, take notes. Remember to hit pause when you're writing down a direct quote and take note of the timestamp. That will be your citation if you choose to use any information in your essay. Uh, Make sure that all your submissions are in MLA format, Times New Roman, 12 point, double space, etc. Here's another link to the novel. And then there are also optional resources on the author as well. There's articles and some multiple resources for you. And that will help you're welcome to use that as a resource for the essay as well. So here's an example of your reading questions. Again, I always encourage you guys to read through the questions in advance of starting the actual reading so you can be actively looking for answers and kind of be a little bit alert of what to look for. And it will also be helpful to know when to write a quote down and remember to use page numbers. So you have 4 chapters per reading, and I did try and minimize the amount of questions However, remember these are long answer questions. So, or short answer, long answer, and it depends on who's talking, right? But so you're gonna have descriptive answers, certainly more than two or three sentences. Let's shoot for like 4 to 6 sentences per question. And then always, always, always include at least one cited quote per question to support your answer. That's how we do it in academia, right? But it will also be helpful, remember, when you write your essay. So don't cheat yourself on how this is building up to the essay itself. But really, I think you're going to enjoy this story quite a bit. Anyway, so you'll see here each chapter only has a couple questions per chapter. That is again a little deceptive. So you can see number one has a couple questions to help you develop your answer, right? But just shoot for 6 sentences and include a cited quote, and you're good. Um, and so each of these readings, again, they are similar to how the short story assignments were kind of spaced out, so too will be the novel. The discussion asks you to just kind of discuss a favorite quote or a favorite character and why. And that should be a nice full paragraph. Remember, you're going to use cited quotes in every answer. You're going to probably get sick of hearing me say this, but just remember to always include a cited quote to support answers, even in the discussion questions. So again, here's your second reading question. You get a feel for the amount of questions, the amount of time it will take to respond. Part three, same deal. The questions are there are a couple more questions here, but they are shorter answers, whereas the first ones are a little bit more developmental. So anyway, that will bring you to the conclusion of the novel. There are 12 chapters. It's very brief, you guys. Don't stress. And then here are your essay prompts for the novel. Again, feel free to read this in advance, read these in advance of even reading the novel so you can kind of it also gives you ideas like why to read this in advance of even starting the novel is look, it you have a list of different themes that are in that flow throughout the novel. And for your essay, you'll be kind of focusing probably on one of them. If you were to have this into consideration from the very beginning of reading it, you might then be gathering quotes that support these prompts or these themes. And so you'll have a really nice long list of quotations, and you can build your essay kind of as you go. You know what I mean? So, anyways, there and you have several options. I think you guys are really gonna enjoy this. I hope you do. I certainly did. I read it often. And then this is a song actually written about the novel that I think is wonderful. So I thought I'd share it with you guys here. So I hope you guys enjoy the novel. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions you have whatsoever. If you want to send an email or if you want to set up an appointment to meet with me via Zoom to discuss it, you're obviously welcome to do that. Don't forget there is an ungraded discussion area for you guys to kind of ask questions, discuss, whatever, and I can pop in and just see if there's anything I can help add clarity to. That's optional. These ungraded discussion posts are optional. So that is our novel or module two or our novel module. Starting to feel like I'm chewing on marbles here. But anyway, I hope you enjoy Siddhartha, and I very much look forward to talking to you. Hope you're having a great time. Talk to you soon.